Coming up on this episode of Peak Thinking.
I just wasn't Nepalese. I just wasn't Filipino. I had to be both. Then I also grew up in a very white school. Okay. And then I grew up and then doing all these things within business. I was a very just different person everywhere that I went. And it wasn't that it was a bad thing, but I always felt like I knew there was something different. Then when I was able to actually take a look at my mental health, I had to be like, okay, you can't be too sensitive. You can't be like, if you have to talk a certain lingo, you have to have a certain type of confidence. So whatever I do, I want to make money. But if in these spaces, I need to be authentic to myself. Promise you, there's so much to do in the city. I've met a lot more people where they are not wanting to leave Calgary summers because it's starting to become a lot more iconic. Our festivals, think about from Stampede, right? Like Stampede has been a staple here in Calgary for a really long time, but now the festival scene has brought a whole new look to Calgary. Like we have huge artists, like huge DJs who are coming that are all world renowned, that they've been at Tomorrowland, they've been at EDC, they're playing at Ultra Miami, like all these giant stages, all these world renowned stages, they're coming in Calgary. Because there are people here in Calgary who appreciate it, and they're selling out these festivals, right? Then Chasing Summer, and then all the Stampede acts that are also coming. So from any type of genre, it's happening. I've done 2 amateur boxing matches.
Oh yeah.
What? Okay.
Priya used to
both. I won both.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
I feel like it's changing. I feel that that definition of an entrepreneur has completely changed, because there's some people I've worked with small to medium businesses. I worked for a consultant, and he worked with people who are there. Technically, there's people who are business owners or they call themselves entrepreneurs. It's like whatever you feel comfortable to say. But I think an entrepreneur is anybody that encompasses trying to found, like being a founder, right? Has a vision. It encompasses, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a lot of business owners, but they're not entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs have that free spirit to think bigger. Oh, yeah. They're not looking to just stay in one.
Exactly. You're wearing 20 different hats.
Yes, exactly. That's what it's You're 100%. Yeah. So, but that's where that disciplinary, whether if it's an artist or, but that's where the jack of all trades, I think that's where entrepreneur, it can be a great thing, but it can also be.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, right? Because either you can juggle all of it or not. But business owners, either what I learned was you become a business owner or the business owns you. That's right? Where an entrepreneur, they may not be in the business, but they are thinking about it. They're
always figuring things out.
Yeah, they're always part of things or putting things together. Doesn't necessarily, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, no, that's a really good explanation. I think that's very true too. Just from my own experience, I'm my own marketing team. I'm my own HR team. You do everything.
Yeah.
So
but now with AI and things like that,
it
does help you a lot.
Easier.
Yeah. But then again, you're a CEO. You are the ones who's putting everything together anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You still have to have that vision though.
The hardest thing about being an entrepreneur is just getting up and having the motivation to just do that thing.
Oh yeah. Especially when things are good. When things are good, sometimes you just kind of take your foot off the pedal.
Right.
So that's the danger, right? You always have to motivate yourself. You can't always be motivated all the time, right? It's about, that's why they say being disciplined is more important than because motivation comes and goes.
100%. It's inspiration, right?
Discipline comes and goes.
Yes.
Discipline is important.
Thing, right? You have all your eggs in one basket basically, and you have to make sure the eggs hatch. That's what an entrepreneur is, right?
Yep. 100%. I have to say with Prakash Dada, like I definitely, growing up within the Nepali community, I've always watched how you've grown into the different facets that you've done and everything you've tried and put your hats on, and it's been really cool. You are a true definition of an entrepreneur.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm so appreciative of being able to, when you called me to like talk about this, I was like, I love to be with other great minds. So it's like, it's so cool to also see the Nepali community grow in Calgary. Like, I feel like that's what we've been able to see.
Like, remember, like when we were growing up, there was like 6 or 7 families.
There was literally, it was just that.
Yeah.
And so from all the kids to everyone, we were all just together.
Yeah.
And then we watched it grow, and then we watched everyone go and do their own thing and grow into
what it is today.
What it is today.
So, you know, they say
100%.
I don't know, last time we spoke to Amraswamy Dai, he says there's like, you know, I mean, we don't have an exact number, but about 15,000 Nepalese in Calgary. Isn't that crazy?
15,000.
15.
If I remember when I was probably like, how old were you when you came to Calgary?
I just turned 13.
Oh my goodness. I was probably like 5 or 4.
Yeah. But it had changed a lot. Even like, you know, when you guys first came here, right? Like, you know, the community was still small.
Town, and so like it was basically farms everywhere, right? Like 3 cars or 4 cars maybe parked at a red light max.
Yeah.
And then we used to think, oh my God, the city's dead. Like there's nothing to do. Coming from Toronto, where like,
Okay,
you
yeah,
step in,
absolutely.
it's like buzz everywhere all the time, right? Like day and night.
Were you born here?
No, I came to Toronto when I was 10 years old. Then I moved to Toronto. I moved to Calgary when I was 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I spent a little bit of my youth in Toronto.
But you know, the thing is, I know like in Calgary it's a little smaller, but like it's home for me. You know? So anytime I kind of go anywhere, if it's like about 2 weeks or so, I miss Calgary. Like I just want to like come back, you know?
Yeah, it's
I don't know how it is for you guys, but that's what I feel like, you know, I'm really comfortable here, you know? Yeah.
Oh, me too. I definitely, I say this to like a lot of my friends. Like I think I enjoy, I enjoy everything that I'm doing in the city because the city loves me.
Oh yeah.
I feel that reciprocity because for years I spent, like it's so full circle. So this area, right? We're on like 32nd kind of area. Okay. When I first ever was doing any type of business or working for that consultant that I was saying that was working with like small to medium sized businesses or entrepreneurs or even podcasts. This was 10 years ago and his office was just over there. And I was just learning. I was just learning about all of this. And I was exposed to the personal development industry. I was exposed to the sales industry, like high ticket sales. I was exposed to what mindset, like he was very big on mindset. So I got exposed to Tony Robbins. I got exposed to Gary Vaynerchuk. I got exposed to all these other, you know, like whether if you call them self-help gurus, personal development coaches, anything like that, speakers, authors. So learned about what even personal branding can do. I just was a sponge. I was a sponge. So we talk about me being a woman in business, right? That was really where I felt it. I was like, I was at that space over there at his office, and as a woman and being so young, I think I was around 20 when I just started working for this guy. It was all like 40, 50-year-old white men that were his clients. Yeah. Okay. Either they owned gas stations, subways, big, giant $100 million companies, $1 billion companies. Like they were all just within this white male group. Right. I didn't see any type of diversity.
Right.
Up until there were a couple speakers, there were a couple women speakers. And that's where within that personal development and speaking industry, I was like, okay, actually there are some women who are really putting themselves out there that made me feel like it was possible to actually do it. Because I don't think without seeing that, I probably would have felt still that I couldn't have done it. But because I was so exposed to it, I'm like, abundance, money, success knows no gender and knows no age.
So true. Yeah.
Agreed.
But for a little bit, I was like, wow, yeah, being colored and being a woman, I was like, wow, can I fit in? Can I do this in this industry? But yeah, it was just like, I got to just try it. So
no, for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so something that we're really passionate about here in ANCC is uplifting businesses here in Calgary, but especially folks who are not in the spotlight, as you were saying, women of color and things like that. And as we were digging around, we found out that women in businesses are only represented 30% of the time in podcasts, and that has a huge domino effect on how women are perceived in businesses. So when they do walk into a bank or an investor, they don't take them as seriously, and so that has huge consequences as for women in business. And so we want to kind of change the narrative. Calgary is your home, and we're just wondering like what some of the challenges or some stories that you could share being women of color in business.
When I was networking and when I was doing a lot of sales for the one consultant that I was working for, it was interesting to see that I had to always position this white male man like this, like he's like mid-age, like me, he's maybe 40 years old, and he's always in a suit. I always had to position him as because it was sales coaching that I was selling. Okay. So when I'm going to meet all these people within any type of networking event or whatever, it was interesting because they would take a look at my age. They would see that I'm also colored. They would also see that I'm not.
You don't fit the description.
Yeah, I don't fit the description of what I'm talking, like of why I should even be here or being at a type of event. I always get looked at it like with kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but they're always second guessing me. They're always kind of just doubting me.
Yeah, you always felt like underestimated.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
always. I've always felt like an underdog. I've always felt it's in any situation, in any type of. I had to get comfortable with that though. It was also an advantage because when I started talking and when I started getting comfortable, I really had to realize, okay, for myself, if I want to be and play in this on this field, I have to carry myself with the same type of confidence as a white male man.
Do you still feel the same way, or?
There are definitely, I think some of my friends really, they'll joke around that I speak sometimes or have views of a conservative white man, like a male. I think I really took it in. But during those times when I was figuring myself out within entrepreneurship and sales and everything, it definitely, I got rejected. I got rejected so many times, just even to strike up coffee or even to bring them back to the office or get them to meet meet the guy that I was selling coaching for, right? Or going to an event. But the more and more that I established myself and said, I'm not going anywhere, and I made myself known in rooms, that's when people started being like, oh, okay, like who is this? I used it to my advantage.
Yeah.
I really used it to my advantage because I'm not like a lot of other women, and I'm not like a lot of other people within sales who, I don't know, like my approach was just very like, I just really wanted to get to know people. And that's where when I was talking about authenticity and just like figuring out who I am, I really had to get comfortable with what I wanted, what I'm doing here. And we're talking about discipline and consistency and all that stuff. I think one of the biggest things is like, why are you doing this in the first place? Right? We don't need to be putting ourselves in stressful situations whatsoever. I learned that. But during that time, I had to really figure it out. I saw a different way. Like my parents, they are very hardworking, right? And they don't come from a lot of money. They made their way to Canada with, like similar like immigrant stories, right? So getting to see what was in front of me and that I was able to, that I could have like in my mind, essentially a piece of that pie, I had to also embody what I saw around me, right? I kind of had to be like, okay, you can't be too sensitive. You can't be like, if you have to talk a certain lingo, you have to have a certain type of confidence. So the rejection and all that stuff, it was going to come.
Yeah.
Oh, how old were you, Priya, when you started
I was
all this?
20.
20?
Yeah, I was 20.
And you got that clarity in your, like, you had that clarity in your head that this is what I'm going for? And
it was something that I realized that I believe that people, like, a lot of my, whether if it was mentors or people that I spoke to why I looked up to them, I when they say like you shouldn't look up to somebody if they don't have exactly what you want. That was like one of the biggest things that I had learned was that if somebody is giving you advice, but you are not wanting to be where they are, you don't take it.
No.
Right?
No.
And at this point in my life, I knew I wanted to be successful. I didn't know what successful looked like yet for myself, but I wanted the wealth. I wanted all the nice things.
Of course.
And I was just trying to figure out how could I also figure out to take care of my parents, right? That was like a big thing. So I put myself in the most uncomfortable situations, but I just tried. Because I said there has to be a way. Some people will go to school, do that route of getting a degree, go to college, whatever, and then they get that job, right? For myself, I really, really had to. I felt that I was that entrepreneur, that mindset. Like I went to university, I went to all that, but I didn't stick with it. It wasn't something that I said, okay, this is kind of where I would want to be. I just said, I will figure it out. And I realized that networking is the most underutilized thing that people don't figure out at that age yet.
Right.
But where I was at, that's where people kept telling me like, you're really good with people. You're really good at talking. So I was like, okay, the more I talk, the more I just put myself out there. I kept surrounding myself with different people that were teaching me these different skills, and I would just absorb and learn. So
that makes sense.
Wow, that's inspiring.
Yeah. So, Priya, you were saying that, before you wanted to kind of, you had an idea of like, what you had to sound like to kind of get be somebody in business, right? And like later on, you figured out that, you said being authentic meant more. So you are who you are. And then like people just kind of like, gravitate towards you, right? So in your line of business, like, you do sales, just being yourself, how does that kind of like play?
In sales, what I've learned, that's a great question, Dada.
Thank you.
In sales, what I've learned is how they like you, how they interpret you, how you've been able to build that type of trust, that they will support anything that you do, whether if it's something small or big.
Yeah. Powerful. I also noticed that, like you said, trust. If they trust you, they can overlook your flaws. Even if you make small mistakes, they will kind of like that's not the centerpiece, right?
I think also like that last time when guys were talking, they talked about how they were super young, didn't know anything, but all they were authentic, and that helped them get sell their entire container within like a month.
Oh yeah.
I think it's heart, right? Like if people can understand intention and heart, and it doesn't really matter anything else on top of that. Like they'll look over flaws, they'll look over whatever. But if you can show that you have that willingness,
right,
to learn, if you have that willingness to just even try, and that openness and vulnerability to be like, you know what, it didn't work out, or hey, I failed, but I want to try again. I think that's where it's that human. It's like human connection is what I think has helped me in any business deals or any of my collaborations that I do in the city. Like, because business also, entrepreneurship, small business ownership, okay? Within entrepreneurship, what I've learned is that you cannot always do it by yourself.
No.
A team And collaboration is always so important, but it will also get you so much farther.
Oh yeah, that's
You pick
Right.
up different skills and you work
Yes.
off each other and you take each other higher and higher.
no. You need
Yeah.
a team though. Like that's like that's 100%. Like even when you think like it's just one person doing it, they actually have a team. They have a support system, right? If your crew is strong, then that just like automatically makes you stronger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to being a woman in business, okay, the one thing that I felt that I've been able to really take in and say, okay, this is a skill set is I find that when I do business, I show that feminine side of me where I'm like, if I care about somebody, how can I support you? That's what I was talking about, that mom funnel, right? Like that type of support. It's like, wow, that's how I've actually also been able to do a lot of collaborations. I've been able, just because of that support side, I'm just like, okay, how can I support? How can I do this? It's taken me to,
that nurturing side of being a woman, using that as a strength.
Oh, 100%.
And uplifting yourself and the community.
It's been so important, but it's also been like, some people will look at it like, the question that was like that you were asking, right? And that you were saying about the stats, like sometimes it makes women, it doesn't give women that advantage, right? But I think the different ways to think about it is that we have things that we can offer in this man's world that give us success as women.
Absolutely.
And gives us that like one of one kind of touch, because it really is something about having a woman be part of your team. I think I've seen in any dynamic, anytime there's a woman being part of a largely male team, it's something's different within it. There's a flair of whatever it be.
There's just like a different mindset, a way of thinking that like men don't have. And it's so essential for the team to be diverse.
That's anywhere, any boardroom, like diverse ideas, like, diversity is very important.
What do you do now?
Okay, so I work corporate. Like I do have like a day job where I work corporate, but then I also tattoo. I owned a tattoo studio for 3 years, and I ended up we ended up separating and walking away. So I ended up I'm doing it still by myself. So I've been tattooing for over 4 years. I do mostly like pop-up tattoos.
Oh.
So I will tattoo in the most unconventional events or places. Like I tattooed at this festival last year called Chasing Summer.
Oh.
And where I was stationed was right behind, it was really, I don't know if anybody knows like EDM, like any type of EDM music, but it was very like bass heavy. So I just had my headphones on and it was just like for 12 hours straight, and I can focus. I've been able to, that's where my neurodivergency, my ADHD, I learned as an adult, around like 4 or 5 years ago, that because in women, ADHD, it comes out very different than men. So for a really long time, I always felt that I was so weird. I always felt I was so weird. I like, from also being gay and also all these things, right? I just wasn't Nepalese. I just wasn't Filipino. I had to be both. Then I also grew up in a very white school. Okay. And then I grew up and then doing all these things within business. I was a very just different person everywhere that I went. And it wasn't that it was a bad thing, but I always felt like I knew there was something different. Then when I was able to actually take a look at my mental health and be able to take care of it and be able to because I always want to elevate. And there was something about when I didn't understand what was going on with my own mental health, that it really, it hurt me in business, because it is a really big thing. Because as women too in business, we're very emotional, right? So I think there's the big difference within men and women is that if I don't feel good internally, authentically, if I don't feel all that, like I am not doing, I'm not doing good. So that hit me with my tattoo studio. When it was during COVID, I wasn't taking care of myself, just trying to make money, trying to manage. We had like 10 artists. it didn't go well. My relationship went down. My business went down. I went back to zero, like even more than zero. But I learned the skill. So I've always been an artist my whole life. So I was able to take tattooing, being able to, because of my relationships, because of the trust I've been able to build with people within the event space. That's how I got the gig to like tattoo at this like festival, and
that's awesome.
It's a massive festival.
Chasing Summer. That's the biggest summer festival besides Stampede. Right?
It's like it's massive. So for me, that was a huge win last year. I did it all by myself last year, and it was I'm never doing that again.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you.
No, I'm not doing that again. I have my best friend that I've known for over like almost 30 years, and she knows how to tattoo as well too now. So we're gonna be teaming up to do that, and she's another woman in business too. So it's nice. Where I got the gig for this year again. So so I'm tattooing. The other thing that I do is that I run events. I run weekly events. So how often do you do your events?
I do events, but on a voluntary basis. Like for it's mostly Nepali events.
Okay.
For example, let's say could be an artist who's come from Nepal.
Okay.
And just promoting them and running the.
So you do the
event.
Promotions and
Now it's probably a good time to bring up the Nepali Mela too.
Yes. Yeah. So Nepali Mela is something that happens annually now in Calgary.
Okay.
So there's a team of MCs.
Okay.
So I am a small part of it too. I try to volunteer, and then it's a good community thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's more like voluntary, and I love it though. I also like public speaking and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
yours is on another scale, right? Like you probably you manage and you coordinate so many things.
Yeah, I do weekly events where I've been able to really find my group of people, or like my niche is within Shisha.
Oh, I love Shisha.
So yeah, like it's just because it's something that like I always went to, or it was just like where I was able to also meet like people that I just like got to, that looked like me, that were the same color as me, like a lot more color, like, BIPOC people. So it was nice to be able to be in spaces where I was able to also like just vibe and be myself, because a lot of the time when I was doing a lot of corporate or when building business, like I wasn't in those spaces. So when I started going to shisha lounges, I kind of was like, these are great spaces that I could do events at.
Yeah.
So then just starting to get to know more and more of like all the lounges and shisha lounges in Calgary. I do a weekly event called Belinsky Thursdays at Chicha Lounge right now. Cool. Yeah, we do a whole bunch of different events. So I host those and help put those events together. And then I also work with McCore Hospitality. Mm-hmm. So it's a hospitality group that owns clubs here in Calgary, like Poppy and Blue Nightclub. So yeah, I've been doing that and working with my friend Ronnie since 2019. I started hosting, like actually doing hosting and stuff.
So it's been a while, eh?
Yeah, it's been from when I was doing the modeling agency, when I was doing creative directing for that. That's how I actually started networking and getting to know a lot of the club owners, because I would have an entourage of beautiful women with me all the time. So they would be like, "Who are you?" I said, "Oh, I just, these are my models. Like we do, it paid to like really just be out there and put myself out there." So once I started doing that, they said, it was always people who saw potential in me, that they were like, "You know what, you'd be really good at hosting."
Yeah, I mean, you got a personality for it too. Like, it's super warm.
Oh,
right?
thank you.
Good at I guess networking.
I realized that I was like, I get my hosting skills from my dad.
Oh yeah.
That Nepali side, like I really, really learned from that young age of like, it's like, okay, he was the number, like what did he do to make anybody feel comfortable in our house, or anytime that he could host somebody, what could he do to make them feel good, make them laugh, feel whatever. And that's just like what I took. And that's like a really big thing that I see for that's a part of me that I brought from culture. Is that why I'm able to even I get to get paid to be myself. Is because I really was able to capitalize on being like, okay, I can just bring those skills, and it's still needed in a world where technology is starting to take over.
Yeah,
right?
That's what they say, right? Like one thing technology cannot replace, well, as of right now,
Yes.
is the people-to-people connection.
Oh, 100%. It's still so important. It's still going to be, I don't think it'll ever replace it.
Yeah, I mean, like, nowadays you try calling, like, customer service, and he's speaking to like robots, right?
Yeah.
And they don't really understand, like, they can't really answer your questions. So you'd rather speak to a person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and having that, like, like communication skills and then interpersonal skills, I think that goes far, so.
Yeah, I just like to give a shout out to your dad, Bhushan uncle. He's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
The most humble person I've ever met. He's a great singer too.
Oh, yeah.
The last time I saw him was in Himalayan Moose, and he was singing
Karaoke.
singing karaoke.
Every Saturday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Always. He's still going there. Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, it's so close here. But I went last.
Yeah, I saw you post. Like, I saw it on the weekend.
Yeah, because we went for his birthday. So
Oh, it was his birthday?
Yeah, it was his birthday. So
So your birthdays are like just like
a day apart.
Yeah.
So like we were like I did my celebration, and then I went to go celebrate with him, and they were singing karaoke. But that's where I get all my charisma, my pizzazz, everything. It's really from my dad, and it's like I'm so grateful that those were like. It's these skills that I have in my life because of that, right? And just seeing how he's always been like from the beginning from the Nepalese community in Calgary. Like I don't know how or I was just living, right? We were just like existing.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize what that foundation was for me to see what community and building trust and being just giving heart and seeing wherever you can help and support what that could do. I had no idea what that would be, that could do in my life right now, but it's because of my dad that's why everything that I'm doing, I'm like, this is why I want to be able to take care of them but still do what I do, right? Like it's been so cool.
Yeah, even when we first moved here, right? Like we were like super new to Canada, and then uncle and auntie, they were like super helpful, super accommodating. Like they had been here for a few years, and they were like, they were taking care of us. Like, I still remember that we used to go to your house. Yeah, that was the best time ever. Like auntie would cook like for everybody. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh man, it just feels like yesterday, but that's why it's so cool. Yeah. It's what you guys are doing is so amazing because representation. What I've learned within all of this too is so important. It's so important to see someone like yourself, to see someone like, to see this. It's like for any younger generation, it's like, wow.
Yeah. Even for us, the reason why we even started this thing was obviously to give people platform, but then again, we wanted voice, like, we wanted a place where we can voice our opinion, our thoughts, and then like representation, like you said, I think that matters a lot.
There's a lot of people that want to do it, but they don't think they can. And hearing your stories
it's inspiring
for people, especially youths, are coming up and they have these challenges.
Well, I wouldn't be here if I really appreciate you guys. So that's why, like, for me to be able to be amongst you, it's like, it's so, I'm just so appreciative. I have so much gratitude for this because, especially at this point in my life too, it's like, it's so cool to just really be like, okay, when you always want more, and if you always think that there has to be this next level you have to reach. There's always something that you want more and more and more. But it's things like this where I'm like, okay, like I've been able to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I can still be myself, but people are recognizing, which is really cool. But also, I want to be able to make a difference, right? Especially for like talking about myself, like as a little kid, it's like I needed to see this. I needed somebody to, I needed to see that representation of myself so that I could just know that this is possible.
I think, going back to what you said earlier, you were talking about like, you never really fitting in. That would resonate to a lot of people. They don't see people like themselves on media, right? and then like, you know, they go to school, like, and they are the only ones probably speaking their like Nepali or like, you know, like any other languages, right?
Yeah.
And then like to be able to fit in, I think like, you know, at that age, it's really difficult. And then your story, I think that will probably inspire a lot of like younger kids, you know? Yeah. And thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
This event space, like
Yeah.
I was talking with my friend who just came back from Toronto. But he came back and he was like, "Oh my God, Toronto! There's just so much things to do, so many things happening, you know." And I hear a lot of that from people that move from Toronto. Like, there's so many things to do here in the city, but like Calgary's dead. Like, what do you have to say about that as an event organizer?
Yeah. Okay. So I hear that a lot too, but it's because they just don't know quite yet. And I think it's like putting yourself out there. I do understand on the promoters end and the marketing end, for any venue or people that are putting things on. I promise you, there's so much to do in the city. If you just think about it, even if you just are searching it, I think there has to be that visibility. That's what I was saying on that marketing end. But I'm telling you, there is so much, especially during the summers. I feel like I've met a lot more people where they are not wanting to leave for Calgary summers because it's starting to become a lot more iconic. Our festivals, like think about from Stampede, right? Like Stampede has been a staple here in Calgary for a really long time, but now the festival scene has brought a whole new look to Calgary because of what stars are actually coming here. The different hospitality groups. So let's just say like the Cowboys Music Festival, they took over Shaw Millennium Park. That is Cowboys Park now.
Wow.
It's a whole, they can fit, I think, I don't even know. I don't want to say the wrong number, but like 100,000 something
really,
people.
Eh?
It's an outdoor park.
Yeah, it is.
So that festival, like it's their vision for it is that's how big they want to create it. Badlands. So right in the heart of downtown, they are doing like, it has become a huge thing where people are like, we have huge artists, like huge DJs who are coming that are all world renowned, that they've been at Tomorrowland, they've been at EDC, they're playing at Ultra Miami, like all these giant stages, all these world renowned stages, they're coming in Calgary. Because there are people here in Calgary who appreciate it, and they're selling out these festivals, right? Then Chasing Summer, and then all the Stampede acts that are also coming. So from any type of genre, it's happening. There's so many different things, and then clubs, right? Clubs have to kind of go towards like what's happening at Blue. We bring international DJs all the time, right? We have DJs coming from, we had somebody come from New York. We had somebody come from LA. Like we have these DJs who are always coming. So trust me, there's things happening. It's just, you have to find what.
I guess people who complain, the other ones who never get out, eh?
No, and they're not looking. Maybe they're just not. Maybe they're looking for something particular to go out to. But even let's just say, Blue Rock Swim Club.
No, I don't.
Okay, there's this beautiful. There's a lounge. It's called Blue Rock Swim Club. They're actually opening up a second place in Kensington. If the experience that Calgary is getting with these places, it's like people are saying it's like if you're going to Miami.
Really?
The Miami Cactus Club apparently looks like the Blue Rock.
Really? So is that an apartment building or what is that?
No, it's on where I would say for the people who are saying that they don't know where to go, you have to be in downtown. I really think it's like going to the Mission area. So it's in Mission by Safeway.
By the water or by Elbow?
Yeah, by that Elbow River. But it's by like Safeway. There's like this place. There's these cool little lounges that are Concord groups. Concord Group puts the and just even like Barbarella, Major Tom's. Like we are getting really high-end, beautiful venues and spaces, restaurants, and they're all top notch.
Like, after COVID, right? I noticed like we are getting like some like the interior is fantastic. Like it's like, I think up there with almost anywhere now.
The vibes of it's so important because I feel that a lot of people, I met a lot of people who have moved from Toronto to Calgary. And there are people who are saying, yeah, like it's just like not the same, but it's building. We are something.
Yeah.
It's just now there's that space and there's that platform for people to be able to do their own events too.
PMO Center is also getting an upgrade as well.
Oh,
right?
Well, the new stadium, right?
Right.
For a while, we weren't getting like big acts because, I guess the
couldn't
saddle dome,
accommodate
right?
it.
But now I think it's gonna open this September or something, right?
Yeah,
Is it that early?
Yeah, this September.
there's a lot, and there's a lot of block parties, a lot of the parks in Calgary that are doing events. Like there's so many things.
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, like people who are complaining, they just like they don't go out much,
Yeah.
Plus, they're comparing too much. Like, Calgary has a different vibe and Toronto has a different vibe, right? So
Yeah.
you need to tell that to your friends. They're like, oops.
Yeah. So what made you decide, like event hosting?
To be honest, it wasn't something that I chose. It was, I think I chose it a little bit later on, but it was the opportunity that I had. The first time that I actually was starting to host anything, I had just finished it was my first or my second? It was my second boxing, my first. I've done 2 amateur boxing matches.
Oh yeah.
What?
Okay.
Priya
I
used
won
to-
both. I won both.
That's
I'm a champ.
impressive. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
I'm very like when they say like I've just tried everything. I've tried everything just to see what I can
is
do and
so
where.
Priya
where
was
my
doing
act-
Muay Thai too.
Yeah, so I did Muay Thai. Yeah, I did Muay Thai boxing. I've
do not wanna
done
mess with you.
jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I've done it. Like I've tried to do as
Hey, you live once, right?
yeah. But it was after that I finished my first or second boxing match, and Ronnie, he's like my brother. That's the guy who owns McCore Hospitality, and he was just like, yeah, I think you'd be great at hosting. Like we're gonna start hosting a ladies' night, and I just said okay. Like this was just like the brink of before COVID. Actually, it's like 2019, but then COVID literally happened, and then all the shutdowns. We kind of had to like maneuver around it. But it was one of the best times for me to really show what I could do as a host, because being a host, being an MC, and being a promoter is all different. I realize now. Like a lot of people like to put it all together. It's very, very different. So I call myself a VIP host, but it's because those things, these names.
What you're doing in the background.
Yeah, those titles have been like kind of given to me, but it was just because there was an opportunity, and it was like, okay, like my weekends were free at that time, and I was like, okay, like if all I have to do is just make sure that people are feeling comfortable, feeling good, and I've already been doing that in pretty much any of the jobs that I've been doing. Is I'm always looking over like after clientele. It just kind of gave me that opportunity, and then I went with it. I just was like, okay. It just kind of worked because people were like, yeah, they wanted to take pictures with me. They wanted to just party with me, hang out with me. And it was really interesting. But after I took a really, really big break because I had my tattoo studio, and I just put a lot of my focus into that. Afterwards, I actually like had a huge mental health breakdown, and just after like the tattoo studio kind of went to shit, I was like, okay, I just asked God. I was like, whatever God is looking to bring me into, whatever next opportunity, I'm going to be able just to take. And this one lounge, it's not actually open anymore. It was called Lounge 18.
Oh, right.
My one friend, he was doing the ladies' nights there, and he made them iconic. It was a Thursday night hub where all these beautiful, sexy people would always just come together, and everyone was just smoking shisha and vibing. And I was like, wow. You could just do that, and it was just, and that lounge, after he had passed away in 2019, after I came out of the hospital, actually, because I had when I was saying I went through all my mental health stuff, that opportunity, the next day they called me and said, we'd like to have a meeting with you because we're thinking if you could do our ladies' nights. if you could like do your Thursdays. And that's when Priya Thursdays were born. They were like, I wasn't going to call it Priya Thursdays, but they were like, why don't you call it Priya Thursdays? And it kind of just like, it just kind of happened. So I started doing that back in 2023. So I got back into hosting, and that's when I really chose to be like, okay, if I'm going to actually host it, like when I got it before, it was just for fun. I was just like, it's just like a gig. But now it's like, I'm starting to get recognized more and more so for hosting things or just being able to do that client relation. So
that's pretty cool.
That's how I got into it.
Any space you go to, you would shine. Like, you're so fun to
Thank
talk to.
you.
Super
so
personable,
great to
right?
listen to. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, like, I mean, you do hosting and you were also doing sales. Do those skill sets, like, do they translate over to
Absolutely.
the other side?
Absolutely, Dada. It really, all of everything that I've been able to experience, everything that I've had to learn has shaped me into this person today. The people skills, it's just intentional, right? I'm just extremely intentional with what I want. And networking and people, I found, are the most beautiful currency. People will see that money, okay, like money, right? Like it can be tangible or it just depends on how you think of it. At the end of the day, we do not leave with anything, right? When we die, it's not coming with us. But the one thing that you can leave is your legacy of how people feel about you and how you can make an impact, whether if it will directly benefit you or not. And through my own mental health journey, through my own spiritual journey, through my own personal development, that's where I realized I'm in the business of people. I'm in the business of connection and collaboration. I don't care what I have to do to get to those spaces, but I just want to be able to make an impact that I know that when I'm gone, like I'm okay. Like it's those relationships that matter. It's how you feel at the end of the day. So I've been able to take the sales was just a beautiful skill that I got to learn. It's like psychologically, it definitely helps in so many different aspects and facets in my life. But it's not, I would say that the interpersonal communication and skills and actually being able to be vulnerable with somebody and people is what has taken my career to actually being a career. Yeah, because people are great, right? Like my dad he does all that, but he doesn't work in sales or people. Right. He just does it because it's just him. But that's where I just said to myself, I'm like, if I have these skills, I have to just be myself, but I need to make money from being me.
Right.
So yeah.
That's the gig.
That's the gig. That's like what it is. And even with tattooing, that's how I don't tattoo all the time. Like I'll do private house calls. I'll do like when people are asking me, but I don't really market my tattooing. I don't really, it's just if people have a connection with me and they trust me to tattoo something for them, that's where I've worked with tattoo artists and artists who they will just tattoo for the money, right? Like whatever, even if they're not passionate about it, they don't care about the person, they don't care whatever, they'll tattoo. It's just a business. For me, it's art. People are, it's a very vulnerable thing to tattoo on skin. Exactly. It is a very sacred thing.
It's permanent too, eh? Yeah.
That's where I got to learn also like within why culture comes into a really big thing is that a lot of tattooing has become very capitalized as in the Western world, right? As just like a
fashion statement. Yeah.
And people can say like, like they'll gatekeep. Like, there's gatekeeping in lots of different communities, but within tattooing, I even learned from some of the other dadas like that within the Nepali like culture too. There's tribal tattoos,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how like even in Philippines, even like, and that's what really brought me into tattooing was like, wow, this is like deeper than, this is deeper than just what I'm trying to, like what I got into it for. So it's made me explore a lot more of myself. And
I feel like event space and like tattooing, they're like completely opposite. One is like wilding out, one is super focused.
Yeah, but it brings those both, like that's why like for myself, like I've really been intentional with whatever I do. I want to make money. But if in these spaces, I need to be authentic to myself. So one is art that is very sacred and very vulnerable. And it's a very one-on-one thing with that person and my client or canvas, right? And then the other one is like, I can be able to spread myself out more because when it's one-on-one, it's just very focused. That's where my energy is. But then within hosting, I'm lucky enough that I have enough energy to just like, I have an abundance of energy. I have no idea where it comes from. You know, I'm so thankful to God that it's just like, it just happens. But that's where I get like, I am like a sponge with people. Like it's the reciprocity, right? It's reciprocity that makes me be able to just like, to work and do these things. So two different spaces, 100%, but
you say you still have a day job. How does that, like, how does that come together?
It's a lot of work for me and a lot of energy, but I also see it as necessary because I need, as an entrepreneur, like what you were saying about how like that intrinsic discipline to have to get up and motivate yourself to do things. I'm not perfect. It doesn't work like that for myself and my brain. It gives my day job definitely gives me a routine and it helps me keep that where I just say, okay, during that time, that's work time where I can mindlessly do whatever I have to do for my day job. And then the nighttime is where I personally come out and do my own thing. So that keeps me a little bit stable, but it also, there's no real such thing as stability, I would say, in terms of anything, but it helps me within just my life to, keep going. So, and
good answer.
Yeah, I come from, like as an immigrant, like a first gen immigrant, right? You watch your parents do so many different things and so many different jobs and figuring out how to make it here. Right. 100%. For me, when like I've had people tell me, they're like, you're everywhere. You do so much. I'm like, yeah, because I've seen it. I've seen how my mom and dad work, it just is. Yeah. It just is. I'm learning to work smarter, not always harder, but it's just something that's part of me, right? So yeah. Still energy to do it. So might as well.
The work ethic, definitely, right? Like
work ethic is, I'm so happy to have learned that from both my mom and dad. Work ethic is just, I might not be the smartest in the room. might not know the most of what is happening, but I have the willingness and I have the work ethic to do so. So I think that'll take you anywhere, right?
So refreshing. Yeah. So refreshing to see somebody who's motivated and, talented and everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But I wanted to ask you, how do you stabilize yourself? Like, how do you keep yourself grounded? Like, it seems like you're doing so many things career-wise, you've been,
Thank you. Great question. Yeah. And also you look so beautiful. I just noticed I was looking at your details of the shoes. I was like, wow.
Thank you.
That is a really, really big thing for my life of how I invest in myself. The place that I got now, it has all the amenities. I have a hot tub, I have a pool, I have a sauna, I have a steam room, I have a gym. That's where it is. It's like I make sure at my end of the night, in the mornings, I'm taking care of me first. I'm taking care of me first. The way I ground myself is I love water. I love just relaxing.
Yeah, something about water is it's so relaxing.
It's just super relaxing. That's what I do. And then I'm also I journal a lot. I journal and meditate a lot. I do a lot of mirror work. I do subconscious reprogramming. Okay. So I've been working with this coach for the last 3 years, and it helped elevate a lot of my life. It helped your subconscious, right? It is your best friend or is your worst enemy. Yeah. And you have to decide You have to decide what you're going to listen to. So being able to work with my coach Eliana for the last 3 years, that's what I have been figuring out is how do I take care of myself? How do I ground myself? How do I talk internally to myself? And that's where a lot of mirror work comes into play, is that I will talk to myself. I will hype myself up. I'm my own best friend. I'm my own hype man. I'm my own everything. So
if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to?
Exactly.
And then, so like, sorry to cut you, but
no, of course.
I was listening to this podcast. There's this guy he's a kind of like a life coach too, and this was what he was talking about too. Like you look at yourself in the mirror, and you talk to yourself 2 minutes before anywhere you go, whether you have a meeting or you're meeting somebody. Like even if you're going on a date, just look at yourself in the mirror and be like, "I'm the best. I love myself."
Yes.
Like, give yourself that pep talk.
Fake it till you make it.
I sound like I talk to myself a lot. Like you were saying how like I can talk and everything. I talk to myself a lot because I don't post a lot of my things that I like, even if I record it, because I will have my own internal talks with myself, because subconsciously, like we're talking about being an entrepreneur, being visionary, right? You have to really believe what you are, who you are. If I didn't believe that I could just be a host and a tattoo artist and being able to do all the things that I could, I wouldn't be able to do it. If I listened to a lot of people who said or doubted me, or like even just they would be like, that's not a job, that's not real. I think even for a little bit, my parents were just like, how are you living? How are you making money? How are you, like what, how do you,
Are you sure, Priya, you want to do this?
Yeah. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure this is a thing? But yeah, it's just because I really was like, okay, I have to do it. This is me. Yeah. But yeah, internally I talk to myself a lot. I ground myself through the mirror talk, and I'm just always in water if I can be. Nice. That's my number one thing, especially morning in the shower. That's like, you're up in the morning, you're talking to yourself. Water is is a very beautiful thing to just like cleanse yourself, but also like ground yourself. And it's like you're a plant, right? So that's how I think of myself, is that I'm a plant.
I think I should start doing it too, because I have been trying to do that, but I try to do that when I'm, especially like, if I'm doing a program like a Nepalese event, like it's nothing complicated, very simple, just go and announce something. But I try to listen to myself. I look at the mirror sometimes, or in the video. It's just so embarrassing at times, but it kind of helps, to give you that boost, that confidence in you.
100%.
So yeah, it makes sense.
It feels embarrassing at first, right?
It does.
But the more and more you do it, the more you get comfortable with looking at yourself and talking. It's like,
but you're fun to talk to. Like if I was like you, I would probably talk to myself in the mirror all the time too. I'm like super boring. It's so funny because or it's music. Like I am around music all the time. So I think you can understand music and dancing.
Yes.
Is like one of the best things that I've realized too for, just myself in the industry as a woman, is that you actually, a lot of trauma is stored in your hips.
True. For women especially.
The more you can actually let loose and be able to shake and just move your hips and shake out that trauma. I've been able to do that with the jobs that I've had for the last over the last 5 years, and I just feel like I've become a happier person. Wow. And that's why I'm just me, and I can talk to myself because I move around a lot. Stagnation, when you're stagnant and you're not moving, and you're not using your body, you're not using what we're given. That's where your ideas can only go so far. Ideas work so great with movement. When you haven't, even when you're talking, an exercise that I had, it's when you're walking, take out your camera, walk and talk to yourself.
What?
You get into a groove because you feel a lot more comfortable. We're not supposed to be sitting all the time to do work. It is things flow. Things flow when you're movement, any type of movement.
Something so out of like suddenly not relatable, but have you ever thought about being a vlogger? Like, because it's like everybody's doing it. Everybody's a vlogger, taking videos and traveling and all of that. Have you thought of doing that?
I've definitely thought of it, but I think it's like what where I'm finding my own challenge right now is that it's the time, because I'm always in it. I've been wanting to get those like Ray-Ban Meta glasses because then I could just look and people can see. If people were to see, I have so much to post, but if people were to see my life, I do feel like I live in a movie. But then I've also accepted that I am living my own movie, like I am my own main character. And that's one thing that really, really helped too. I am the main character of my book, of my movie. Everybody else is side characters, but then they're their own main character.
That's
right?
a very healthy way of looking at things too. Like for your own peace of mind. Remember last time our previous guest, he was talking about this Japanese concept, like you have like good side and the bad side, and which side do you want to listen to? I think that's what Priya is kind of like. And I think it's kind of similar to what you were saying before. Let's say 16-year-old Priya. Yeah. If you were to give her an advice, what would you tell her?
Oh, great question. The advice that I would give is that, be what you were talking about, grounding, is make sure that as an entrepreneur, dream as big as you can, but make sure that you're also protecting your visions and your ideas. Not everybody is privileged enough to be able to get and hear what your heart is desiring and what like God talks to you like, because those things that's how I believe it, is that when you have grandiose visions for yourself and these things that I've had for a really long time, it's only now that I'm acting on it, is to protect that. It's just to protect that, but also be able to just learn to make peace with yourself and understand that not everything is going to be that instant. We live in an instant world, right? We live in such an instant world, but these great things take time, but also it also comes with like internal peace.
A great answer.
Yeah. It's like, so finding that peace and being able to make sure that you are authentic and trusting yourself in those visions and whatever you want to do. Because throughout this whole journey, when I faltered on my trust for myself, that's when I saw things go down. When I took other people's opinions, when I took other people's their experience was, it wasn't mine. But because I just was like, oh, they know better, they're older, they've gone through it. No, everybody's living their own experience, right? So that's what I would say to my younger self, is just trust yourself more in this journey. But it comes with also living and being present though. It's being present, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And for all those people who think Calgary is boring, there's nothing happening, please follow Priya.
Please. There's so much happening.
Is there a question that you feel like we should ask you?
Looking at all those, I really did appreciate being, because I don't think I've ever actually talked about being a woman in business to really a lot of people, but also being a colored person in business, working with just in the landscapes that I've always I've worked in, from corporate to in all industries. I've always just been the anomaly. I've always stood out. Not only just from being a woman, but being a colored woman, to being part of being gay and also being a woman. Seeing how all that works. Having my backgrounds, having my, as you know, coming from a Nepali background and then also a Filipino background, understanding that okay, I'm there's not a lot of that same mix. And then also just understanding bringing my cultures into it, from also being able to, having my elders around me, right? And seeing do I fit in, or am I going to be accepted? Do I have to make my own path? Yeah. So that's I've never really been able, so I very much appreciate being able to speak like on my truth. And I like told my dad last night, and he says hello, and we're very appreciative.
Yeah.
You know, he was just like, you know, do us proud. And I said, yeah, of course. Like for me, I'm so appreciative of to be able to sit around like three entrepreneurs who also are doing something. Like what I find that a lot of people that I've met, especially within, I guess like even within the Nepali community, it's like we're surrounded by a lot of people who are doing things and just had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Being a first gen Canadian, right, is just like coming into here and then being able to like, okay, we have all this, how do I say, like we have this privilege to be able to even do something like this and create our own platform and be able to speak our truth and be able to explore these things. I think it's so beautiful that, you know, we're able to even collaborate and talk and do all these things. So